to 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒅𝒔. Today we have another card called Ragequake featuring the new Onix from Pokemon Go with the Raging Swing attack doing 50x damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. We're also bringing our Swampert with the Moneymaker ability, helping us attach that extra 1 fighting energy from our hand. You can also choose to attach a water energy instead from your hand to your Swampert, doing Earthquake for 180 damage and also 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So we are planning to attack with Earthquake first before doing damage with our Raging Swing, helping us prepare as much damage counters on our Onix so they get to do a one-hit knockout against a V-Star or even a VMAX Pokemon. We're also bringing 2 copies of OHKO to help us place even more damage counters on our Onix each time we attach energies from our hand to it. For our draw support, we have 2 Snorlax to do Gormandize, 2 Maris, 2 Research, 2 Bruno, 1 Shauna, and 2 Irida. For our setup, we have 3 Baby Pass, 4 Quick Ball, 1 Capture, 2 Incense, and 1 Ultra Ball. We also have 1 Escape Rope and 2 Switches to help us attack after doing Gormandize, 1 Energy Surge since you're playing 2 different types of energy in this deck, 1 Pass to the Peak for the extra disruption, and also to remove our O-Symmetry just in case we place too many damage counters with our Earthquake. We're also bringing 3 Rare Candies and 2 Irida for the Stage 2 evolution, 2 Raihans for the extra energy, 1 Boss, and 1 Manaphy. Finally, for the energies, we're playing 5 Basic Rock and Water, 4 Twin, and 1 Capture. So that's all for the deck list, and if you guys are in need of any specific cards or packs for your own PTCG account, feel free to contact our sponsor from XTrainer90 team for the best price in Pokemon TCG online codes. You can contact them through the links in the description below, or you can click on the top right corner of this video. They even got complete personal decks you could purchase, full art, secret rare, gold cards to add to your collection, and packs from any expansion in format. Brilliant Stars, Astro Radiance, Rebel Clash, you name it. And now let's go for gameplay! Okay, let's go here for our first game versus Shadow Rider Calyrex. So Shadow Rider is a 1-hit KO deck, but it is a VMAX, so we're trying to kill a VMAX with 1 hit. We got our Onix, Raging Swing doing a lot of damage, 50x for each damage counters on it. So the main issue with this deck is placing enough damage counters fast, and also the energy cost of the attack. How are we able to attach energy fast enough for us to do the 1-hit knockout? So there's 2 things that we need to do. We need to place a lot of damage counters on our Onix, and we also need to attach a lot of energies onto it in order for that one shot against a VMAX or a V-Star. And that is what we want to aim for. We want to be striking for that delicious knockout. For that to happen, we need to be thinking of Swampert. So Swampert is our first attacker. It has to be, just because we need to do Earthquake not only to prepare for Onix to do a lot of damage, but also while we do that, we need to be thinking about attaching enough energies, just because if you pass the turn attacking with Swampert, and if they knock it out on their next turn, on your opponent's next turn, then you got no more ability. You can't use Moneymaker on your next turn. You cannot attach energy onto your Onix with your Swampert anymore. So we only have 3 copies of Swampert to spare. So each copy is actually precious. Don't waste any of it. And we actually have a lot of research in this deck. We may accidentally or like forcefully be forced to discard it from our hand if we want to draw enough cards into our hand to, you know, speed up our game. So if we have, for example, too many Swamperts in our hand and a research, and we have no choice but to play the research, then we have to kind of conserve that Swampert. That final copy of Swampert is precious. We cannot actually waste it. So it's actually better to not play the research for that situation, and then basically Gormandize until you have a Marnie or something else, a Marnie or Irida to get your rare candy, something like that. Because if you discard 2 Swampert, you're basically done for. That's why we are only playing 2 cups of research. No rod in this deck, but only 2 research is kind of okay. If you have 3 research, you need a rod. Okay, so we got our first Swampert. We're gonna try and attack right now, but we can't actually do it just because we have no switch card. We're just gonna save it on the bench. Hopefully they don't play. Hope that they don't play a switch boss order. My bad. Okay, we're gonna do Gormandize. We got our second rare candy if they don't do a Marnie. They got Astro Barrage, which could be a big plus for them because it actually helps us. It helps them kill all of our 1 price cards. So we are doing damage to our own Pokemon with Earthquake. I think O-Symmetry is actually bad if we're playing against Astro Barrage. If they are smart enough, they can actually do nothing but the Barrage. So that's actually helping us, because now we just need 1 energy for the retreat. We actually have only 3 copies of the switch cards in this deck. 1 Escape Rope and 2 switches is not too bad, but I would prefer an extra Bird Keeper just because we don't have the space for it. I would rather opt for more Marnies or Bruno, Research, stuff like that, just because they are kind of They help you draw more cards into your hand, as opposed to Bird Keeper, which actually forces you to switch as well. In cases, in situations where you don't need to switch, you actually have to, just to draw those 3 cards. So that's why I kind of don't like Bird Keeper anymore. It kind of works really well depending on what deck you're building. For this deck, I just prefer not to. I just prefer an extra switch card item so that we actually get to draw it out with either Irida, search it with Irida, or even draw it with our Gormandize research, stuff like that, or even Raihan for a switch. So unfortunately, we have to knock out our 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒐𝒅𝒔 just because we want to be attacking this turn. We are going to knock it out anyways if it stays on the bench, because Earthquake actually hits it for 20 damage. So O Symmetry forces us to kill our own 𝑑𝑻𝒃, which is fine because we're going to kill it anyways. So we're going to just Ultra Ball for another Onix, I suppose. Oh, we got another Mudkip. Yeah, let's get an Onix because we want to be collecting as much damage counters as we can. So if they do Astral Barrage at the right time, they can essentially kill all the Onixes on the bench before we're able to do Raging Swing. So if they are smart enough, they would actually bring out the second Shadow Rider and then do Astral Barrage for that second copy. Right now, they have Articuno and Cresselia on the bench and nothing else. So we don't really need to worry too much as yet. Okay, they switched to the Cresselia. So that means Cresselia is going to do 120 damage this turn. It's not actually a lot, but it's actually enough to knock us out right now, because they did their barrage on the last turn. So saving the Shadow Rider is actually going to help them a lot, because they can either evolve or do Astral Barrage one more time. So evolving, I think, would be a big mistake. Oh, they actually attach the energy. So they don't have an energy on their hand. That means they are forced to do Crescent Glow instead of... I forgot the second attack, but the Moonlight attack actually does 120 damage, which would have been enough to kill our Swampert. Okay, we actually got one turn saved thanks to Cresselia's lack of energy, I suppose. But we would have been able to play a Raihan on our last turn. So Raihan, if they kill our active, we can actually search for a Twin Energy for our second Swampert. And they even gave us a training cord. So I don't think we have any energy discarded. We don't have any, basic energy in the discard pile. That means we're not able to search for it. We're not able to retrieve any. And if we want to play Raihan, we shouldn't be playing the training card either. Okay, we got 2 research. I'm not sure why, but if you play 2 copies of each supporter, they keep giving you 2 at the same time. Like, I keep getting 2 Brunos in my hand after I play a Marnie, or early in the game. I don't know why. 2 Bruno or 2 Marnie or 2 research in my hand is just a bit annoying. Like, you should be getting 1 research at a time, or at least like 1 Marnie and some other supporter card. It's just a bit annoying. I have no idea how the algorithm works. It's just totally bizarre. Okay, we got our training card. We're gonna do it right now. We actually have 2 Swamperts, so that means we get to play our research. We should be attaching with our ability Muddy Maker, but we actually did from our hand, which is quite silly, because we should be attaching every turn a Twin Energy from our hand, and then Muddy Maker for those basic energies. Because we're playing Fighting and Water, nothing but Fighting and Water energies, and we should be thinking, oh, okay, so we are planning to use Boss to kill the Shadow Rider, which actually is smarter, because if we do Earthquake too many times, then they're gonna do Astral Barrage at the final countdown, at the final moment, to kill all of our Onixes on the bench, and then we are totally screwed, right? Because Swampert can't do a one-hit knockout against the Shadow Rider. Swampert can't even knock out the basic V card. So we don't have any choice belt in his deck. We're not killing a V card with 1 strike with 1 Earthquake. That means we need our Onix. So it's basically a race of whether are they able to get the second Astral Barrage into the game. If they're able to do Astral Barrage I'm repeating these too many times, but this is basically what the game comes. This is basically what it comes down to is, you know, can they do Astral Barrage at the right time? Okay, are we gonna play the O7 It's not gonna disrupt them. It's not gonna help us place damage counter on our opponent's Pokemon. So we're just gonna discard it just because we don't want to be damaging our Pokemon even more. We're playing nothing but Earthquake right now, and it's actually really disruptive just because we are damaging our own Pokemon every single turn, and we should be attacking with Onix by now. So always think about that. You know, don't do Earthquake too many times because you're gonna have to take the recoil of 20 damage every single turn, and we have no heal cards in this deck, so it's actually pretty disruptive. It's pretty damaging. Earthquake is quite terrible in that sense. You could actually end up killing all of your Pokemon if you use it too many times. And we don't actually have a Manaphy anymore, so that means they get to use Psylaser to kill our Swampert in the active, Swampert on the bench, or even our Onix on the bench. So what are they going to kill with Psylaser? They're doing Pumpkaboo. Are they going to discard the training court? Nope, they chose not to. Okay, Quick Ball. They're actually helping us with the training card though, because we are only playing 5 basic of each type, 5 basic energies, and that's actually not enough for Onix, to be honest. But we have 2 Raihan though, so it's not too bad. That's why I quite hate the fact that they keep giving me 2 supporter cards in 2s. So that means if I have 2 Raihan in my hand and no other supporter card, I can't actually draw into my hand. I'm forced to do Gormandize every single turn. And also if I have like 2 Raihan and a Research, that's gonna be horrible, because that means we can't actually use Raihan at all throughout the entire game. We're not able to play a single Raihan. So that's why I hate the fact that they keep giving me my supporter cards in 2s. I have no idea why. Like, it just makes no sense to me. Makes no sense at all. Right now we're okay though. I think we actually have 2 Raihan. Yep, that's 2 Raihan in our hand right now. But we get to play it because it's late game. We actually get to use it. If it's early game, can you imagine this hand that we are having right now? If we have this hand early game, is going to be horrible because we're going to be forced to play that Research or Irida, and Irida is not going to get us any energies. So this is the bad thing about this deck. Irida, playing too many copies of that card is actually quite terrible. If you don't have any Capacious Bucket or enough energy searches in your deck, then Irida is not going to be that helpful. We can't afford to play that many energy searches just because we need, you know, enough copies of our other trainer cards, our rare candies, evolution incense, setup cards, stuff like that. And we need enough copies of our basic energy as well. If we don't have enough of them, this deck is just not gonna work. Okay, we're gonna Raihan our the first time for a twin energy, and then Raihan a second time for another twin on the second one. And we actually made a mistake. Look at that. Okay, this is the part where I made the biggest mistake of my life. I thought that switch card was a twin. I wanted to attach the twin. I wanted to play the twin on my Onix, but I actually played the switch on my Onix. So that was the misplay right there. I thought that switch card was a twin energy. But we actually managed to save ourselves later on. You'll see. Okay, we did Rock Tomb for only 20 damage, but we are locking them from retreat. So Rock Tomb is not bad. The first attack is quite weak, but it actually gets to lock your opponent from retreating. So that means they need a Scoop on that now, either a Scoop or a Switch in their hand for them to be able to attack with either Cresselia or Shadow Rider, but they want to be attacking with Shadow Rider though. So no Astral Barrage. I don't think they have double turbo in this deck, so that means they need like 3 turns for Astral Barrage, and they can't actually wait that long without a second VMAX. So that means they are choosing to attack with a VMAX instead of waiting for 3 turns or getting out a second VMAX for the Underworld Door. I think this is like the League Battle deck because it's actually quite slow. They should be getting like more. They should have at least another VMAX on the bench by now. I don't know why it's so slow. So let's do our twin energy. Should we retreat though? If we retreat, we're going to be wasting a lot of energies on our active. We're going to have to discard them, but we actually get to retrieve them with training card, which is kind of okay. If they kill our Swampert on the next turn though, that means we can't actually attack that easily. So what are we going to do? I think we should be attaching both of the water energy, discard the twin and 2 water for the retreat, and attack with the Swampert. If they boss one or the other Onix, we actually got like the twin in our hand and the training court for the fighting energy. So that means if they boss the Onix, we can actually retreat our Swampert to do Muddy Maker, attach the twin from our hand if they don't play a Marnie, of course. If they play Marnie, is an entirely different story. But I think we should be retreating this turn. We actually chose not to though. I have no idea why. So it's actually very tricky when you're playing the game, like you panic and you know, stuff happens. I didn't realize that we get to use the training card. So that's why. So if they kill our Swampert, we actually got the other Onix already charged up and ready to go. We already have 2 fighting energy attached to it. We just need 1 twin. We don't even need Muddy Maker unless if they do a Marnie. If they do a Marnie, we're probably going to get our second Swampert anyways. Second Swampert and a twin. Second Swampert or a twin, because if we get our second Swampert, we are probably going to get, you know, 2 energies into our hand. So we actually retreated to Snorlax. That's actually pretty weird. Okay, we're going to reattach to the Onix and then Gormandize. So it would be quite much more difficult to win if they don't give us the training court, just because we are relying so much on it for our Onix to attack, and we haven't yet used our Raging Swing just yet. So this deck is actually quite difficult just because Onix needs so much energy. It needs like 4 energies. It's ridiculous. So Swampert only helps you attach that extra 1, and we only got a max of 4 copies of Twin, no double turbo in this deck. I don't like double turbo because you are doing 20 less damage for both Earthquake and Raging Swing. We want to be doing as high as possible, as high as we can. So if we are not able to play Earthquake first, and if we get O73 early, we can actually do our Muddy Maker and attach from our hand. If we attach on our first turn already, then on our second turn we can attach another 3 copies of it. Another 3 energies, we can get 3 more energies onto our Onix. With that 1 twin and Muddy Maker, we actually get to attach up to 4. Doing Raging Swing with O73, we get to place up to 6 damage counters on our Onix, hitting 300 damage with Raging Swing. 300 is enough to kill any V-Star unless if they have that tool card. So they actually killed our active. They killed our Swampert with a boss, and we actually got an O73 on our hand, and that means we get to do 500 damage minus 30 because they are resistant. So we get to do 470 against a VMAX, killing the Shadow Rider for the last prize, which is pretty cool. For the final 2 prize actually. Okay, we got 4 tickets from the mystery gift. Tickets are always frustrating because if you get them, they could mean nothing. Because if you like go to tournaments and if you lose from the first game, it's just the worst feeling. I always go for theme tournament because it's much more fair. Not many meta decks there. Well, there's no such thing as meta deck there, right? There's only the theme stuff that you get to choose from. So it also depends on luck though. If you play the game too long, if you have been like a frequent player, they wouldn't actually give you that many wins anymore because, you know, they know that you have been playing the game so long. They know you're heavily invested, then you should be, you know, buying those packs instead of playing tournaments for the tradable packs. Because they don't want you to be spending your time and energy playing the tournaments. They want you to spend your money. Common sense. So I'm not going to play those tickets anymore. I'm just going to use them for the standard format for this video. For, you know, whenever I can, whenever I'm confident enough that the deck is tournament worthy, then I would actually go to a tournament with those decks. Just to showcase them on my YouTube channel. But otherwise, I'm not playing the theme tournament. It's just a total waste of time, in my opinion. They keep making me lose. I keep getting an impossible hand. Like, impossible hand. Impossible. Okay, right now we're up against a Met Party Ditto deck. The new Ditto from Pokemon Go, helping them copy the Met Party attack from their discard pile Pokemon. That means if they have discarded a Bunnelby, only basic though. So if they have a Bunnelby in the discard pile, they get to use Met Party with their Ditto's sudden transformation ability. So they need either a Dedenne or a Bunnelby in the discard pile. Otherwise, they're not able to use the attack. So if they have, for example, Galarian Mr. Rime and a lot of Poltegeist, they cannot actually attack with Ditto, which is pretty interesting. But they actually have 8 copies of the other basic though. 8 copies of the basic Met Party card. It's actually quite easy to do that. So they're playing Pokestop as well. The good thing about Pokestop, if you're playing against a Met Party deck, is that they actually have to discard their own deck, just in order to excavate for that item cards. So that means if they are unlucky enough, they may actually discard their own energies, and they actually have no way of retrieving them except for Roseanne, and Roseanne only helps them retrieve that 1 copy of special energy. So if they don't play enough Roseannes, and if they discard too many of their special energies with that Pokestop, they are gonna be completely screwed. There is a liability. Like that stadium is quite risky. Because if you discard the cards that you need that you're not able to retrieve, that is gonna cost you a lot. So make sure you're aware of that whenever you fit that into any deck. Pokestop is a really good card. Don't get me wrong, it's a really it helps you draw a lot of cards into your hand. It helps you kind of compress your deck for you to draw out other cards as well. But if you discard the wrong stuff, you're going to be completely screwed. Kind of the same as your Lost Zone cards. Colress's Experiment, Comfy, those new cards is going to be quite disruptive to your own deck as well, because you're losting your own cards, which could be a huge cost. You never know. For example, if you have for example, 3 Twin Energy at the top 5 cards of your deck playing a Colress, you're going to be forced to get at least 1 out. Because you're going to, if you lost too many of your special energy, you're completely screwed. Okay, we got a Raihan. This is a very tricky game because we're going to be forced to pull off an attack every single turn. We actually get to do it for this game though. So we get to attack with Rock Tomb, which is enough for the knockout. We don't need to do our Raging Swing. So the main strategy against a 1-prize deck is to hit every single turn as fast as possible. Collect your prize faster. If you can attack every single turn, that actually secures the win. Especially if they are playing a low HP attacking deck. So Bunnelby only has 40 HP and is actually weak towards fighting type as well. We got our Swampert with our Raihan search, and for the second Raihan, we actually get to search for a rare candy to attack with our second Swampert, which is great. So we are basically hoping that they actually discard their special energies, or have enough in the prize card or at the bottom of the deck, such that they need to either deck themselves out in order to search for that, because they don't actually have any Marnie. I don't think they have Marnies, because they actually need to discard a lot of cards from their hand. They may be playing Research Zinnia, Milo, Alistair, stuff like that, or maybe like very limited supporter cards, just because they already have like Chinchino and Poltegeist for the discard, for the draw as well. So if they keep drawing too many cards, they may not get the Twin Energy, because if it's at the bottom, there's no way for them to get it out, unless if they have a Marnie. That's why you still need a Marnie for your regular decks like 𝑑𝑻𝑪𝒐𝒅𝒆𝒔, 𝑑𝑚𝑪𝒐𝒅, or any other decks that actually forces you to draw a lot of cards, forces you to discard a lot of things from your hand. Be barrel decks as well. You need Marnie, just because if you get those cards at the bottom, it actually helps you shuffle your deck in a way rearrange your deck, not shuffle, but rearrange your deck in a different way. If you play Shauna, it actually helps you shuffle. Bruno as well. So Shauna, Bruno, Judge helps you shuffle your deck, which could be a good thing. Drawing every single turn is not really that good, because if you don't shuffle, it's going to be completely screwed. But they do have item cards though. Like, they do have item cards for the shuffle. Let's not forget that. Okay, we got our rare... We need to be searching for rare candy, right? We actually got it though. I think we top decked a rare candy. So we're gonna just Raihan for a basic. And then... let's get a quick ball, because we want to be playing Marnie for something important. Okay, we actually get to Muddy Maker for an extra energy onto our Onix. That means if we have a twin with the Marnie on the next turn, we actually get to do our Rock Tomb again. So I think that's our saving grace right there. We need to be doing our Rock Tomb fast. So Pokestop is actually helping us as well. It's helping us draw out our item cards and kind of compress our deck so that we get to draw the twin into our hand. But it may actually... we may risk having our twin energy discarded also, right? If we discard our own special energy, we're gonna be completely screwed. If they discard too much of their energy, they are gonna be completely screwed. So it's basically a gamble. It's based on luck. Who's more lucky? Who's more unlucky? Who's gonna win this game? Tracking shoes, and they just concede. Look at that. So they couldn't draw out the energy and they conceded. So they did tracking shoes. I think we made a misplay right there. We should have attacked with... we should have switched to the Onix and attacked with the Onix, because that means we don't need the twin. We don't need to search for the twin, right? So if they got the twin energy, you know, if they have that final twin energy in their hand, then they can actually knock out our Swampert on the last turn. And then we can't actually attack with Onix unless if we draw out a twin energy, which is actually quite difficult. So we have a switch in our hand. We should have done... what we should have done on our last turn is attach the twin onto our Onix, Raihan, you know, Raihan to search for Onix, obviously, Raihan first to search for Onix, and then bench the Onix, Muddy Maker, that fighting energy onto Onix, and then attach the twin, switch, and do Rock Tomb. And then after doing Rock Tomb, if they knock out our Onix, we actually get to attack with our Swampert. If they knock out our Swampert, we get to hit with Rock Tomb, but Rock Tomb actually doesn't get to kill a Poltegeist. So if they can actually attack with Poltegeist, then we can't actually attack, we can't do a knockout with our Onix. So it's really down to luck, right? It's really a gamble if you're up against a Mad Party deck. We got really lucky just because they couldn't get the energy out. But we actually hang on to the game we hanged in there for a long time. So I suppose if you're persistent, you know, you might just get lucky. You never know. It doesn't happen often for me, but sometimes it does, and I cherish every second of it. We need to cherish our blessings. Okay, we're gonna play our Ultra Ball to get an Onix, and then switch on the next turn. We actually have to play our Gormandize. Right now we're up against a dual Lucario deck. So they have Lucario VSTAR and Lucario One Prize. Aura Star, I forgot the first attack, sorry guys. And also Roaring Resolve Lucario. Roaring Resolve with Aura Sphere Volley. I think we could actually attack with our Body Slam. So we can do Muddy Maker onto our Snorlax for it to attack with Body Slam, possibly paralyzing our opponent, locking them in the active spot for one turn if they don't get their switch card, blocking them from attacking as well. So paralyzing could actually help us for that one extra turn. But if we are unlucky to flip a tails, then Body Slam is basically wasting all of our energies because we don't actually have enough. We don't have any training card or energy retrieval or even rod to recycle our energies. We have only Raihan, and that is only one copy, right? We only get to reattach one copy of energy for each Raihan that we play, But we do have 2 Raihans in his deck, so I suppose it's not too bad. Okay, we're gonna do our Muddy Maker right now. I think we should be attaching our twin. Oh, we actually attacked with Body Slam. Okay. I thought we attached to the Swampert and the Onix, but there we go, Body Slam. That was actually quite silly though, because they can evolve. If they evolve, it's gonna be terrible, because they just need 1 more energy for the attack, and we are playing a colorless Pokemon. That means 120 is enough to kill the Snorlax. That's actually quite silly. We did not realize that they haven't yet evolved, I suppose. So, big mistake attacking with Snorlax. Now we actually wasted all of our energy. I suppose we are kind of baiting them to kill the Snorlax instead of our Swampert, because if they kill the Swampert, we are stuck. We have no other Mudkips on the bench. We're completely stuck. So I think we were actually trying to bait them in a way. So Marnie actually completely destroyed our hand, because now we have no twin, no water energy. We are not able to attack with our Earthquake, which we should be doing by now. So Earthquake actually helps us collect the knockout against the V-Star in the active, because they already have 10 damage counters on it. So Body Slam is not a complete waste, just because we can actually collect the knockout now. Earthquake Body Slam helps us kill the V-Star, because they have no big charm on it. We have the twin, but we have no fighting energy, no water energy, my bad. Okay, we're just gonna invest on the Onix, apparently, instead of our Swampert, because if they boss the Onix, we can actually attack the Swampert. If they boss the Swampert, we can still attack with Onix by attaching only 1 energy to it, but we don't have O Symmetry though. So that means Raging Swing is only doing 100 damage if we get our O Symmetry on the next turn. So I think it's actually quite silly for us to be attaching to the Onix. We should be attaching 1 to each. Okay, we did a boss just for that, for an extra turns of stall, because we actually need to break them from attacking for at least 1 turn. I'm not sure if they have an air balloon already in their hand, another air balloon, because they already attached to their Lucario. Bibarel, if we can knock out the Bibarel, they can't actually draw anymore. So Grant helps them discard 2 cards from their hand, and I think they're trying to draw with Industrious Incisors, because they actually played Grant just for the discard. They're not doing extra damage, but they actually get to discard you know, useless cards from their hand, cards that they don't need, but they actually didn't play the ability. I have no idea why they didn't do that. I suppose they were trying to anticipate a Marnie, because if they draw too many things in their hand, and if we play a Marnie on our next turn, they're gonna be stuck, right? Because they have no Bibarel anymore. No Bibarel after we do the knockout this turn. If we do a switch or a scoop up net, but we don't actually have a switch. They don't know that though. They don't know that we don't have a switch in our hand. We have a Escape Rope instead, and we're gonna play it right now. Escape Rope for the attack, or are we gonna just play our Marnie and gamble for that switch card? Because we actually have 2 more copies inside the deck, I think. Oh, we have 1 last copy, my bad. 1 last copy of switch card out of 26 cards in the deck. I don't think we would be that lucky to get it. Oh, we actually did gamble. We did risk it for the biscuit, and we got it. Oh my goodness, we got it. Okay, so it was actually wise of them to not draw cards with the Bibarel, because now they have 5 cards in their hand, which, you know, probably are the right cards, because if you have only 3 cards on the last turn, you're probably gonna get something good with that Marnie. Okay, we did our Earthquake to kill off the Bibarel. Now they have no draw support, but here comes the Lucario V-Star, and they haven't yet used or evolved the 1 prize Lucario, so we need to watch out for those cards. We already wasted our boss for the stall. That means we can't actually boss the second V-Star, which is gonna destroy us a little bit. So we need to be very aware of that. We can't actually kill the Lucario V-Star on the bench unless if they put it in the active. So it's basically, you know, it's still anyone's game at this point. If they do Aura Star this turn, we actually have to attack with Onix. And there we go. Oh, they don't need to do Aura Star, because 120 is enough. Okay, my bad. So Onix is not doing enough damage. We're forced to play a research for the discard. For the draw. I don't think we can afford to discard the Swampert. So we're just gonna Gormandize and wait for that other rare candy. So this is quite bad because now we have no way of killing the Lucario. No way of attacking. And they actually got an extra prize. So now they just need 3 more knockouts to win the game. If they can evolve both the Lucario, both the 1 prize, we are completely screwed. We have no choice but to put the Mudkip. I think we can actually retreat if all else fails. We can just retreat, research for O73 and then attach the fighting energy from our hand. 44 damage counter is enough to kill the Lucario with 200 damage using our Raging Swing. And then maybe search for the rare candy with Irida on the next turn. I don't know. Oh, we got a Raihan, fortunately. That means we get to do our rare candy this turn. We're gonna just bench our Onix. So we have to search for rare candy, and that means we can't actually attach Twin to anything else. We're forced to attach another basic onto our Swampert from our hand, but we still got our Muddy Maker. At least we get to play Muddy Maker 1 turn. And 4 damage counter on one of the Onix is actually enough to collect the second knockout if they don't play the V-Star on the next turn. And I don't think they can actually attack with the V-Star without a double turbo. If they do double turbo on the second V-Star, I don't think they can knock us out. But they have Aura Star though. So if they do Aura Star for their second Lucario, then we can't actually kill. We have O73, right? So we need to just play our research for O73. We have our final copy of the stadium. If they do Aura Star on the next turn, we're just gonna research for O73 and then get 6 damage counter on the first Onix to do 300 damage on the V-Star, and that's our first knockout, our second knockout for 4 prize, and then we got 1 final remaining prize. All we need to do is do either Rock Tomb or Raging Swing for our final Onix, and that's actually pretty difficult though, but 200 damage is enough because I don't think they have any more V cards after that. So let's see if we have any Twin Energy. We have our O73, 1 more copy, 1 more Twin, couple more Fighting Energies in the deck as well. So I think we're good if they don't play a Marnie. If they do a Marnie, I'm pretty sure we have other support cards inside the deck left. Because we did Gormandize a lot of times in this game, I don't think we played a lot of support cards. So Marnie is not gonna completely destroy us, just because I'm quite confident that we still get to play our supporter even after the Marnie. I think we have a couple Brunos as well, so Bruno is gonna help us a lot. If they do a Roxanne, I don't know what to do. Like, they can't actually play the Roxanne right now. So here comes the 1 prize Lucario. So killing the Bibarel was actually a huge deal, because now they are not able to draw. They played a Raihan for the 1 prize evolution, I suppose. I think they actually searched for a double turbo though, which is quite weird, considering they should be attacking with a 1 prize right now. So there we go. I think they didn't do Aura Star. Like, I don't know what's happening. They did not do Aura Star. I think they were a bit cocky. They thought they could last another turn with that V-Star. So no way are we gonna give them an extra turn. We're just gonna do our O73. We don't have an O73 though. So we don't get to kill, but we get to do Muddy Maker another time at least. Right? At least we get to play Muddy Maker again. It was a bit cocky of them not to do Aura Star on the last turn. They definitely should have done it though. Because that would give them an extra prize, and then if we do Raging Swing, it wouldn't be enough to kill them because we only have 4 damage counters on that Onix. And we actually need our second Onix to kill the V, to kill the V-Star, and by then they would have the Bibarel for the second Lucario. So I think if they did Aura Star, we don't actually stand a chance. Because we didn't get our O73. If we research for an O73, we would have been able to kill the the Lucario. So it may be better to add more copies of that stadium in your deck. I don't know. We got pretty late though. We got quite a bad hand to start. And we are forced to play Gormandize a lot of times. We're forced to do Snorlax's ability way too many times than is the normal case for this deck. So I would say that we got pretty unlucky to start. And maybe they just forgot that they have a V-Star power. Maybe they just forgot that they could use Aura Star for the knockout. And, or maybe they just forgot that they couldn't do the knockout with the first attack. That it's not enough, it's not doing enough damage for the Swampert knockout. Because for the first one, they actually did knock out the Swampert with a V-Star. But just because we already have 7 damage counters on it. Now they have a double turbo and we don't actually have that much damage counters. So now we got an extra turn, so to speak, just to get Moneymaker a second time and also to get enough energies onto the second Onix, plus that O-Symmetry for the final kill. Now we just need one more prize. They got their one prize Lucario at long last. If they somehow bench another Lucario, play a Raihan for double turbo, I don't think the Lucario, the basic, can attack with a double turbo. I think the basic needs 2 fighting and a colorless. I'm not sure. Because they need 60 damage, at least 60 damage to kill our Onix, so I don't think the first attack works. If they attack with Hawlucha, it's not enough as well. So they need to be attacking with Lucario if they want to survive one turn by tanking enough damage. Because they can actually discard the stadium card with their own and then deny us enough damage. There we go, they got the second Lucario, the third one, my bad. But they can't actually attack with it. Without a Raihan. Or even with it. It's the end. It's the end of the game. Well, we don't have enough energies though. I just realized that. We don't actually have enough energies on that Onix for the Raging Swing. And we need to be doing Raging Swing for the knockout. If we don't get either a supporter card or our fighting energy from the top deck, we actually lose this game. So this is actually pretty tight. It's a very tight game just because they made a mistake and now we're stuck if we don't get a supporter card. And we actually top deck a fighting energy. Look at that. We actually got a fighting energy and now we get to do Raging Swing for 200 damage, killing a Lucario for the final prize, getting a VIP for the win. We prize so many VIPs. 95er. Okay, right now we're up against a Darmanitan coin guy. That Darmanitan coin is giving me nostalgia. I used to be so excited when the new theme decks come out. The new theme decks from Darkness Ablaze was Galarian Darmanitan and Galarian Surfetch, both Galarian decks, and they came out with you know, Turbo Patch as well for those decks. Turbo Patch, Bird Keeper. It was so fun playing those decks. Now there's no more theme decks, which is very sad. I'm so upset about that. Like, why is there no more theme decks? There is V battle decks to replace that, but it's not even that good. Firstly, it's not even that good. Second, there's no formats that actually helps you play those decks. You only get to play that deck in the standard format, and let's be honest, guys, V decks is not gonna work in the standard format. Like, V decks is completely useless. It's gonna get completely crushed in the standard format. So many meta decks. Like, come on, so many meta decks. Okay, right now we're up against Regidrago, Regigigas, Regibox, Turbo freaking nonsense. Is a psycho basic deck. All they need to do is capture, VIP pass, quick ball. They can't play a level ball obviously, but they can actually do Regigate as well. Regigate for the extra basic, and then discard their energies, and that's all they need to do. I think the main problem for a Regigigas deck is that they can't actually search for the special energy that easily. So playing a Pierre's in your Regidrago deck could actually help. I keep calling it Regidrago, Regigigas. So playing Pierre's Energy Lotto for your Regigigas deck is gonna help you loads, or maybe even a Pokestop, right? Pokestop to discard your special energies. But if you discard the wrong things though, if you discard like too many of your basic Pokemon, you're probably gonna play a lot of items anyways, right? If you play a lot of rods in your deck, a lot of what else? Tool Scrapper, Choice Belt, super effective land, super effective glass, tracking shoes. So if you play a lot of items in your deck, it kind of justifies playing a Pokestop for your Regigigas, because it helps you discard your special energy, which is a big plus. Every single turn you get an extra 3 discard. If you discard your Regis, if you discard your basic Pokemon, you can rot them back on the next turn by searching with the same stadium your rods from the deck. Okay, our golden rule against a one price deck is that you need to hit fast with your stage 2 Pokemon. If you can't hit with Swampert early, you are completely screwed. So I think we should be playing our escape rope research right now, and then retreat if we can't get the rare candy combo. We don't really have a choice. We need to be trying to kill as fast, as early in the game as possible. So that's why we have to compress the deck with that quick ball and have no choice but to play that research. Are we gonna get the rare candy and incense? I kind of doubt it, because we have Irida in this deck. That means only 3 rare candies is not gonna help us. I don't think research on the second turn is enough for us to get a rare candy. So we didn't get it, but oh well. We at least get to do energy loop to save 1 energy. But I think it would be smarter to just retreat to the Snorlax, because now we actually are vulnerable for a knockout. If they can attack on the next turn, they're probably going to collect the knockout against the Marshtomp. Dead Marshtomp means we are 1 less attacker down. So 1 less attacker is quite bad, because we need 6 attackers. We don't have any rods in this deck. We need a solid 6 attacker to win the game, and we can't actually attack with Snorlax. Snorlax is not doing enough for the knockout unless if they attach 2 energies from their hand with that old symmetry in play, staying in the game for 2 turns straight. And I don't think they're going to be that dumb. I don't think they're going to be dumb enough to attach from their hand, unless if they are forced to with that Aurora energy. If they're forced to play Aurora energy from their hand, they're probably going to attach to different Pokemons, right? So that you get to discard another energy, and then Regigigas use the Regi ability to reattach from the discard pile. So there we go, they already discarded the stadium. They got Search as the Bath now. I think they're playing Pot Helmet also to reduce even more damage done by our Pokemon to their basic. So Search as the Bath helps you buff by 20 damage, and Pot Helmet buffs an extra 30. So that means we're doing 50 less on their Regis. So unfortunately, they are not able to get their special energies out into their hand or even discard them from the deck, which is a bit sad. But I suppose it does happen for a Regi deck. They got so lucky for so many games. I mean, we should be... is expected to happen, right? It's expected for bad shit to happen if you play the same deck for too many games in a row. Because this deck is so old now. It's kind of a few months old already, right? It's still Astro Radiance. Don't get me wrong, it's only 1 or 2 months, but it's kind of much more older than Pokemon Go. And they are not playing any Go cards here. No Pokestop, no Lure Module, no Blanche, no nothing, no, you know, Pokemon Go trainer cards, which is gonna help a lot, to be honest. Lure Module. What other cards do we have? I think we have another trainer card, another item from Pokemon Go. I forgot. Remind me if you can in the comment section below if you guys want to. So here comes Irida. We're gonna get our Rod. Unfortunately, we did not have a Swampert. I think for this list, we're playing only 2 Swamperts. We have a Rod, so this is a weird... This is one of the, you know, midway through the game, midway through the recording, I decided to change the list and switch it up a little by playing only 2 copies of Swampert, only 2 Mudkip as well, and that 1 extra research and 1 Rod to help us recycle those cards. So it actually doesn't work as well as you are seeing right now. It doesn't actually work that it doesn't help us evolve our second copy, and we need to be evolving our second copy just because if we have no other Swamperts in play, Onix doesn't get to attack with our energies, and we can't do Earthquake anymore. It's gonna be completely it's gonna be a complete shit show, right? Without Swampert, our deck is gonna be bombing like crazy. So that's why I eventually decided on, you know what, we need a solid 3 copies of Mudkip and Swampert to help us evolve every single turn and attack with at least 2 Earthquakes in a row and do 2 Muddy Makers onto the Onix for us to guarantee that Raging Swing for at least once per game, doing 300 or even 400 damage for that heavy attack. Okay, they still have not yet attacked or collected a single prize. So this is a big surprise. They actually got the wrong energies. They're playing double turbo, powerful, capture. They didn't get the Aurora for Regigigas. They didn't get the twin for Regigigas. So that means they can't actually attack with anything, which is actually giving us an extra prize on the next turn. We need a lot more though, because we don't have a Rod now. We have no Rod in our hand, no second Swampert. We need to be playing Muddy Maker as much times as we can. If we don't get our twin on the next turn, we cannot attack with our Raging Swing. We are not doing enough damage for the knockout. With Rock Tomb is not enough. We need to be attacking for at least 100 damage. If they are attacking with, you know, any other Regis, if they are attacking with Regigigas or Regieleki, 4 damage counter would actually be enough because they are actually weak towards fighting type. Otherwise, we're gonna need to search for that old cemetery with either Raihan or research. So old cemetery for an extra damage counter, for extra 2 damage counter on the Onix, or just to hit the weakness. They got a pot helmet and a search as the bath, so that means we're not able to kill the Regigigas with our Swampert. We need to be switching or retreating to our Onix to be able to knock out the active right now, unfortunately. But I think they actually played a stadium this turn, which is quite silly. So had they not played a stadium, Earthquake wouldn't be enough. Earthquake would not be enough to kill the Regigigas. There we go. They blindly played the path to the peak, which is quite silly in my opinion. Maybe they wanted to prepare for Regigigas to draw cards on the next turn, I don't know. Maybe they want to retreat to the Regigigas because they don't even have enough energies for the attack. There we go, they didn't even retreat though. I think they already retreated. So they can't actually do it twice in a single turn. Maybe they did it, maybe they didn't, I don't know. I'm not too sure honestly. So let's do Moneymaker a third time onto the second Onix. We actually got our twin, that's great. Now we're gonna just research. Are we gonna discard the energy though? Should we be discarding that water? Well, let's just do it. I think we have enough energies for the next one. So, we got no rod. We have 3 prize remaining after this knockout. So fortunately, no Search as the Bath means we get to attack with the active without doing the switch, and we didn't actually get the switch with our research, so it actually works out perfectly. Thank you for the path. We can actually play our own stadium card to remove Search as the Bath, but I don't think we got it in our hand before the research or after, so there's no way we could counter that Search as the Bath without retreating, but thank God they played the path. Okay, Peony 4-2 Trainer, and then draw 2 more cards with Regigigas. If they use up the item card, they actually get to draw a solid 4 copies. You know, they get to draw 4 cards into their hand, a switch card and a scoop of that. Okay. They scooped up the Regigigas to discard the super effective lens, because they don't super effective glass. I keep calling it lens. Telescopic sight is not even a lens, right? The only lens tool card is a white lens, I think. White lens is pretty cool though. It's expanded. I think it's from X and Y. White lens or Sun and Moon, I'm not too sure actually. White lens allows you to hit for the weakness on your opponent's bench Pokemon. So if you, for example, play like Soup Across or like, you know, Amazing Kyogre, for example, and if they are playing like full fire deck, you can actually hit 160 damage on all of their Pokemon, like their active and their bench. Or if you play like a Greninja V Union against a fire deck, you can actually do 200 damage with your Waterfall Shuriken. I think it's called Waterfall Shuriken, I'm not too sure. 200 damage to all of their bench Pokemon with that white lens attached to your active, obviously. White lens, I love that card though. I used to play it so much with my Mew EX, because Mew EX gets to play, I think, type switch for there's a lot of combos in expanded, like you get to play with anything. I think I actually tried Mew EX with type switch Arceus, and then, you know, tank a little bit damage with like tool cards. Well, if you attach the white lens, you can't actually attach any other tool cards, right? So I'm not sure how I actually managed to survive one turn, but I think Mew EX has actually enough HP. I don't know how, but if we're able to survive one turn, we can actually type switch, and on the next turn play our what's it called? I don't know what attack it is, but there's an attack that does 50 damage to all of your Pokemon, including their bench. So 50 damage means you get to do like 100 damage with your weakness, with your white lens onto their bench Pokemon, which is pretty cool. But if you're wasting one turn switching your type, it makes no sense, right? Because it's kind of the same thing. If you do 50 damage twice, it's the same thing as doing 100 damage once. So it's better to just do it twice, because you're wasting one turn doing nothing except switching your type. So let's just focus on this one. Expanded is a completely different story. I don't think I'm that adept. I'm not that skillful in expanded. because you know you need a lot of experience for every game, obviously for each format. But I used to love expanded because you get to toy around with so many combos. Welder, I mean, Welder with all the new cards, Gardenia with all the old cards, Irida for all the old cards. Can you imagine? It would be crazy. Adaman for all of your metal Pokemons from Sun and Moon, your Melmetal and Lucario GX, Adaman for those cards. And they actually conceded because they couldn't attack, so we actually won against Regigigas 1 prize with our stage 2 and heavy attacker Onix from Pokemon Go. So heavy means 4 energies. 4 energies for Raging Swing to hit big. But it actually gets to do a lot of damage though. So if it can hit hard, it's gonna hit so hard, and it's gonna help you collect 3 prize for a VMAX knockout, or even 2 prize for a V-Star, which is not too bad. 2 prize is still good. A V-Star knockout for only 1 hit is pretty impressive. Because all we need to do is Muddy Maker, Earthquake, O-Cemetery, and we're good to go. If we get the right stuff, the right pieces in our hand at the right time, obviously, then it's gonna help us a lot. So Cynthia is not a good card for this deck, unfortunately. I tested the game, I tested this deck a lot of times, and Cynthia does not work. Bruno helps a lot. Cynthia is useless just because we are playing so many VIP passes. If you have a lot of items that you're not able to discard, if you have, you know, only 1 Ultra Ball in your list, don't play a Cynthia, because Cynthia actually requires you to kind of use up your cards. If you can't play, you know, the remaining cards in your hand, Cynthia is not gonna help you draw enough for the support, right? For example, if you have a lot of Pokemons that you can't evolve in your hand, if you have a lot of item cards that you can't play, like VIP Pass, Rare Candy, stuck in your hand, and no ways of discarding them, then Cynthia is not gonna help you draw anything. So that's why I prefer Bruno. That's why I eventually upgraded to 2 copies of Bruno and no Cynthia in this deck. 2 Marnies, 2 Research, 1 Shauna, and 2 Irida. No Bird Keeper, but we do have 2 Switch and 1 Escape Rope. So this is the new list, which is actually working pretty fine. Not too bad. I would say 3 out of 5 is working like slightly above average. Maybe 65 to 70% success rate. If you're playing against a VMAX, if they don't play like Mimikyu VMAX or Astro Barrage, if they do Astro Barrage at the right time, I keep saying that, but it's, you know, I got screwed a lot of times with Shadow Rider. They keep matching me against Shadow Rider. So we played against Shadow Rider the first time and we won, but the second time that we play against the Shadow, we didn't manage to fit into this video because we lost that game. So we lost because they did Astro Barrage for the Onix knockout. So they killed all of our Onix on the bench with that Shadow Rider. You know, I think they even have a double turbo. So that's the power of Shadow Rider, is that you can actually counter 1 prize deck with your Astro Barrage. You can counter VMAXs with your Max Jice. You can counter V-Stars with your Max Jice. Like, it's very versatile because you can do a 1-hit knockout. You can do a 2-hit, you know, 2 Pokemon knockout in a single turn against a 1 prize, multi-prize, you know, OHKO against VMAX, V-Star. It's everything in the same deck. If you're smart enough to play the right cards at the right time, if you're smart enough to change your strategy and your gameplay according to the situation, according to the circumstance and a particular matchup, then you can actually win every game. Unless if you're up against Moltres, right? If you play against Galarian Moltres, I don't think you stand a good chance because 1 boss gives them 3 prize. 1 boss with Diaflame Wings, and we have Dark Patch now. Like, we have Dark Patch now against Shadow Rider is going to be completely destroyed. Galarian Moltres, 1 word against Shadow Rider. All you need is a Galarian Moltres in your deck to completely destroy a Shadow. Okay, here comes a Zacian V deck. They got Zamazenta, Zacian, and Bronzong to transfer the energies. Switch, Crystal Cave, heal, heal, heal. Cape of Toughness for the extra tank. So I think we should be focusing on Onix for this game. If we can attack fast, we should be attacking with Raging Swing first, because Raging Swing gives us 300 damage if we have 6 damage counters on our Onix. 300 is enough to kill either of the V, even with like the Rusted Shield attached. So whatever tool cards they have attached, 300 is enough to kill them. And we actually have our O Cemetery right now. We don't have a rare candy, unfortunately, so we can't actually attach enough for the damage counter. We may need to play. We got 2 rare candies. Look at that. We may need. They're probably gonna Marnie us though. We may need to play our second O Cemetery because they have a lot of crystal caves. So it's actually quite a waste that we have to pass the turn only attaching 1. And they didn't do a crystal cave. Now we get to kill the Zacian. Now we get to knock out the Zacian with our Onix. Because we got 2 rare candies, look at that. No Marnie, no Stadium card, and we almost wanted to play our Swampert, but realized a bit too late, I would say, that we could actually do Raging Swing for the knockout. Because that actually helps us conserve our Muddy Maker for the next turn. If we attack with Swampert, always remember this. If you can attack with Onix first, make sure you do that for the knockout. If you are not doing a knockout, just don't do it, because it's better to save it on the bench. And then, you know, even if you are wasting your ability, if you get knocked out, you can't use the ability anymore on your next turn. No more Muddy Maker if your Swampert gets knocked out. So always be aware of that. But even so, you got your Raihan for the backup. You got, you know, extra copies of your Swampert, and helping you prepare for the damage counters to do a one-hit knockout late game is gonna do a lot more than to basically waste your Onix doing a 2-hit KO, like a few damage, like 100 damage with your Raging Swing is not good. You're gonna be wasting that card for 100 damage. That's not good. That's not wise, because we don't have rods to recycle that card. We don't have any way of retrieving our Onix from discard pile, and if we use it, we might as well use it for a knockout. If we're not doing a knockout with it, just use your Swampert. Okay, right now they're using Zamazenta. Zamazenta actually gets to kill our active right now, but it's not doing a knockout against our Swampert though. Swampert gets to survive the Dauntless Shield, not the Dauntless Shield, Assault Tackle. So Assault Tackle is discarding our special energy, but we are able to counter that easily with our Muddy Maker. We can reattach our energies quite easily. So I think we should be kind of worried, but not too much, because if they discard too many of our special energy, we're completely screwed. So we just need to maybe invest. Well, if they attack on the next turn, they're probably going to collect the knockout after. So let's just attach another twin if we can on the next turn. But they actually conceded, look at that. So I think they knew that we could actually do another knockout with our Onix. So if we, they can't kill our Swampert on the next turn, and that means we get to hit twice with our Earthquake. Even if they discard our special energy, even if they discard our twin, we get to use Muddy Maker to reattach to the same Swampert, and by then we will get our second Swampert, our third Swampert out. We actually have a second one on our bench as well, and we actually get to play a research to get more energies, do Muddy Maker onto our Onix while we are placing damage counter at the same time. So we're attaching energy with Muddy Maker and also placing damage counter on our bench with our Earthquake at the same time. That's the ideal game, because we get to prepare both things. We get to prepare the energy cost and also the damage counter, the condition for us to do a one-hit knockout against the Zacian on the same turn, which is bonkers, which is like perfect. So that's why they conceded, I suppose, because if we do Onix for the last knockout, they're done. They need to be switching to the Zacian on the next turn after we do our Earthquake this turn, because if they don't do that, they can't do a knockout against the Swampert. And if they are passing the turn not doing a knockout, we get to kill the Zamazenta, and all we need is one Onix to win the game, right? One Onix to collect the final V knockout, and that's it. So if they don't get their switch cards, they're done, and I don't think the reason, probably, it's probably because they don't have a switch card that they conceded. I don't think they have a switch card in their hand. Maybe that's the main reason they, decided to concede, I don't know. So right now we're up against a Galarian Mr. Rime, a really cool deck. Galarian Mr. Rime with Trubbish, with Garbodor from Vivid Voltage. So Garbodor actually helps you do 30x damage for each tool card in your discard pile. So for each tool card, you get to do 30x, and then you have to actually shuffle them back into your deck. that means you're doing 0 damage on your next turn unless if you are able to draw them back into your hand and discard them all over again. So Galarian Mr. Rime gets to attack. If you have a tool card attached to your Mr. Rime, you get to do 90 more damage for your customized cane attack, and you get to do 180 total damage with Choice Belt or your gloves. You get to do 30 more, and that means if you get knocked out on your last turn, you get to add that extra 30 for your Garbodor's Trash Cyclone attack. And also it has the Surprising Hands attack. So Surprising Hands helps you collect 3 item cards from the deck. So if they do Surprising Hands first, they get to search their deck for 3 tool cards, put it into their hand, and then basically discard them with your Meowth or Articuno or something like that, or even Ultra Ball. They get to discard them or even attach to their Rime, and then, you know, play Trash Cyclone on the next turn. But they don't have Milotic. The bad thing about this deck, the only downside I would say, is that they don't have Milotic or enough space for that that stage 1 card. I don't think they are able to fit that in, because they're already playing a stage 1 attacker, a basic V card attacker, which needs a lot of energies. They need Melanie as well. So they need a lot of tool cards in the deck, obviously, for Trash Cyclone to work. So having so many tool cards means they don't have enough space for their draw support, don't have enough space for another stage 1 Milotic. They need to be fitting a lot. That's why they are playing Greninja for the extra draw support, and Articuno as well. So it's definitely a very interesting deck. And as you see right now, they are searching for 3 tool cards. If you don't play a Marnie, they get to keep it in their, they get to keep it on the next turn and discard it with either Ultra Ball or Articuno or even a Meowth. Meowth is going to get rotated though, and that's the only ability that helps us discard from our hand, other than Grant. Grant actually helps you discard as well. But if you, if you play Chinchino and Grant, that would be perfect though. Chinchino, Grant, or like Liepard. Liepard is the new Chinchino, so Chinchino is going to get rotated. Liepard with Grant helps you discard the supporter, and then that supporter card helps you discard 2 more cards from your hand. If you want to be playing like Trash Cyclone, it's going to get rotated though. Garbodor is going to get rotated, but if you discard 2 tool cards or like 2 Met Party cards, Met Party is going to get rotated as well, my bad. So if you discard 2 Magikarp from your hand from Pokemon Go with your Grant, you can actually do 60 more damage with your Ditto. That means Grant, that Liepard is giving you essentially 1 extra discard, right? If you discard your Grant with the trade ability, you essentially get to discard an extra copy of your Magikarp or Gyarados with that support card by retrieving it into your hand from the discard pile with its effect. Okay, here comes Irida. So they need a lot of energies on Rime to be able to attack, but we are buying a lot of time just to get our stage 2 out, and also to search for our item switch. If we don't get our switch, we cannot attack. So both players are actually biting for time, and I don't think they are playing a Melanie. So no Melanie means Rime doesn't get to attack that easily, and I think they actually are trying to stall with that tool card. So if they got their Galarian Breastplate, they get to survive a bit longer. Surviving the extra 1 turn helps them do customized cane, at least once, for them to maybe collect a knockout against a Crobat V or something if they play a boss. And then after that, do Trash Cyclone for 1 billion damage, which is pretty cool. I've never seen this before. Surprising Hands, customized cane, Galarian Mr. Rime for tool cards, and then a tool card combo with your Trash Cyclone. That is so cool. I'm loving this. I'm loving this deck. Special combo. Another Surprising Hands for an Ultra Ball and 2 more gloves. They're playing all the gloves in the deck, which is pretty cool, because they get to search for any type, any gloves that they want. No Milotic though. That means they have so many cards in their hand which could possibly get Marnie. I think it's kind of like a meme deck, because it's quite obviously not that good. They don't even have a Melanie for the attack. But it's very interesting though. I mean, I love this meme deck. It's so cool just because you are playing it for its intended purpose. Mr. Rime is basically a tool Pokemon, right? You're searching for item cards. Customized Cane is a tool attack, which helps you do extra damage for each tool card. Sorry, if you have a tool card attached to your Rime, you're doing 90 more damage. So it's basically a tool Pokemon. It's a tool Pokemon. And they're playing it with the tool combo Garbodor. I love it. I just love it. Very smart guy. I think I'm gonna end the voiceover right here and leave you guys to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this combo today. We are featuring our Pokemon Go Onix with our Raging Swing attack doing 50x damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, and also our Swampert to have it charge up for the energies, with Muddymaker helping us attach that extra fighting energy onto our Onix to do Raging Swing because it needs 4 energies to attack, 2 fighting and 2 colorless. That means we need a twin and 2 more fighting with either a Raihan or a Muddymaker that helps us attach 3 extra energy in a single turn. And that means if we do Muddymaker, Raihan, and a twin, we actually get to attack in a single turn right after, you know, anything gets knocked out on our last turn. If we have a Swampert on our bench and extra Swampert, we actually get to do Muddymaker more times. That's why we need 3, you know, we need a solid 3 copies of that stage 2 just so that we get to play that ability more times every single turn, helping us secure enough energies on our Onix to do the knockout. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy your life. you.